Hey friends, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. It is so good to be back with all of you here on YouTube. After taking what was a much needed mini vacation, I just am getting ready to start a new job, and so we thought, well, let's just take a breather as a family. And it was a much needed one and perfect to do right at the end of the holiday season as things were slowing down. So now we're back and jumping into all of the things, and today I wanted to talk to you about organization and just staying on top of things as a parent or as a homeschool parent. I personally I have my hands in lots of different things. I work full time. I have lots of volunteer services that I am involved with. I have the homeschool that I'm managing. I've got a kid that we're getting ready to send off to college. I have a house and a garden to maintain. There's just lots of things to keep track of. So how do I keep track of it all? How is it that I stay organized? So I thought today I would share some of my favorite apps and items that I use personally to stay organized on top of things. And maybe you'll find a suggestion in here that is something that you like or that you think might work for you. So some of these things are, pen and paper products, and some of them are actually apps that I use and that I've really been enjoying. So I have some different kind of categories to go through, right? So let's start with just how I keep on top of life in general. What I've got going on day to day, what days I have appointments, keeping track of some of like the more obscure things that are important to me, but maybe not to, anybody else. And that is with my bullet journal. Now, I used to use just like a regular A5 planner, one that was predated and all of that stuff. But I found that there were things that I wanted to include in my journal that just I couldn't find in any I couldn't find them in any planners. It didn't matter which brand I looked at. There were always pages in those planners that were kind of meaningless to me. And then there were pages that I wish were in there. And so I found bullet journaling, and I have really just enjoyed doing this. Every year I purchase a new bullet journal. So I like to get mine from Notebook Therapy. They are super high quality, beautiful covers that you can choose from. This one's kind of got the faux suede, really nice, thick paper. So that way, when you write on a page or draw on a page, it does not seep through to the other side. The other really nice thing about this is that it's 100% customizable. Like I can add or take away anything I want from this journal. And that's exactly what I do. I have pages in here that I have made based on the things that matter to me, things that I need to keep track of or things that I want to keep track of. And I'll show you a little quick flip through of some of the things that I keep track of in here. For starters, I like to keep track of our cleaning tasks, things that I want to do on a weekly basis, things that I want to do on a monthly basis. I even will add in notes on things that only need to be done a couple times a year, but if I don't write them down, I will forget about them. I'm also a really big reader. I have a goal every year of reading 100 books. And it sounds like a lot, but when you're a homeschooling parent, it's actually quite easy to hit that goal because just reading the books that I'm going to assign my kids adds quite a bit. And then I like to just read for enjoyment and read for my own learning. So I have different ways to keep track of that. I have a reading log. I have reading prompts to try to challenge me to read books that I probably wouldn't have picked up otherwise, or to get onto my bookshelves and read some books that I've purchased but maybe haven't gotten to yet. So I like to include that in there. I have things like keeping track of my car maintenance. What's going on? When was my last oil change? How close am I to a down payment on the next car that I want to get? I have pages that are in here for keeping track of my Bible reading. So reading through the Bible. Last year, I wanted to get through the whole Bible in a year, and I did not. So I redrew another tracker on here. I'll have to fill it in with where I stopped last year, but it'll help me just stay on pace trying to get through the whole Bible in a year. And then, of course, once you get through kind of those special pages that I've created, I have just my plain monthly planner. So, for every month I create like a title page, and the setup for month to month is going to be pretty similar for me. I always include a goals page. This is where I write down whatever my monthly goals are, and then I have things that I keep track of by the month. So I like to keep track of my moods. How am I feeling from day to day? Have I been more frustrated than I've been happy? Have I been more tired than I've been okay? So I can look for some trends. And then I have what I call my daily 10. These are things that I try to do every day. And I give myself a couple of things on this checklist that I know are going to get checked every single day. And that kind of, I don't know, it's a little motivating when you can automatically check some things off. But things like remembering to do my daily devotion, read a little bit, take my vitamins, but other things like putting all of the dishes in the dishwasher or making sure they're all washed before the end of the night, making sure the counters are cleared off before I go to bed, making sure that I'm hitting my water goal. So all of those things are on there. And then I keep track of daily highlights as well. So what was it that stood out to me about the particular day? And then I have just my day-to-day pages. So I'll try to show you some where I don't have a ton of things written in here. But for example, yeah, as we get into like February and things like that. So I can do these different day-to-day pages any way I want. And I don't actually do the same thing for every month. I like to kind of change it up so it, you know, I don't get bored. So for example, oh goodness. Okay. For example, in March, I did this layout for my day-to-day. But then when I went to April, I did that layout. And so I can change it from month to month and decide kind of what I want to do for me. Here's my layout for May. And so I can then decorate this however I want to. I can add in stickers. I can add in drawings. Sometimes I like to hand draw almost everything and come up with my own designs. And sometimes I'm just not feeling up to drawing and I'll add in different kinds of planner stickers or decorative stickers that I have to just beautify the book. But if you are looking for a planner that you can really customize and maybe you have a little bit of an artistic flair or you'd like to just be a little more creative in your journaling, this is a great way to get started. I have enjoyed these. This is my fourth year doing a bullet journal, and I've saved all my past ones and I've just really loved that. For staying organized with homeschooling, I have been using my homeschool lesson planner. Now this is actually an Excel tool that I developed after, you know, just getting really tired of constantly doing the copy paste thing. I had a lesson planner document that I had downloaded free from the internet where I could just put my lesson plans in, but then I had to copy and paste those into a Word document planner that I had made to print out to put in my kids' planners. I didn't want to handwrite things. I got really tired of doing that because there was so much to write every single week and it was just taking forever. So at least copy and pasting was faster. Well, I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice if I could just type in my lessons and then they'd automatically go into the planner pages and then I could just print them. And even better, would it be great if there was an easy way for me to push lessons back? So for example, if we took a sick day, just push them to the next day and have it easy for me to just reprint instead of having to redo the whole document. And so I developed an Excel document where I could do just that. So for each of my kids, I have a copy of this document for each of my kids. So I have the lesson pages. So here's where I put all of the subjects, and then I can put in all of my lessons for the year. So for some subjects, I went in before school started and I put in absolutely everything that was going to be needed for that year. For example, for math, it was easy for me to put in all of the lessons, all of the tests. For grammar, all of the lessons, all of the tests. For other ones, I've been entering them in about, 8 to 10 week blocks. So I'll sit down and I'll enter everything in the lesson planner that's coming up in the next couple weeks. This has been really nice for things like my guest hollow courses, which are literature and activity-based courses. And since there's a lot to kind of sort through and decide what we're going to do, rather than trying to overwhelm myself and look at all of it all at once, I break it down into chunks and then I plan it out in those chunks. So what's nice then is that it will automatically flow into 2 different versions of planner pages. So I could either print this as a 1-page planner page or a 2. I personally prefer to print it on the 2 because I've got a little more space in each spot to print those. So I just print those out each week for my kids, put them in their planners. Now if something changes, then I can make that change and I just print a new copy. Easy peasy. And it's been really nice. It's been super helpful for making the planners for my kids this year. It's saved me so much time compared to what I was doing in previous years. Now, if you are needing a homeschool lesson planner or something like that, where you'd like to be able to type in your lessons and then print off things for your kids, it's available in my shop. If you look down in the description box of this or any of my videos, there's a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page. So there are a ton of resources on that page for you. Some of them are free, things like my transcript creator. So if you need to create a transcript for a high school student, you can download that. It's totally free, and we'll walk you through creating a transcript for your student. I have got pages on how to write research papers. I do have the old planner pages versions, the Word document ones, if you prefer something like that. But also I have this for purchase on there as well. So all of those things are linked down below for you if you are looking for something and need to check it out. Now, another tool that I have discovered this year and have really enjoyed using is Google Keep. Now, this is a digital app or a digital website that I heard recommended by actually by a teacher who was using it to keep track of things in her life, and I have really come to like it. I used to be a to-do list writer. Like, I'd write it down on a pad of paper every single day. What was happening though is that I was having like all of these other things start to need to be added to my to-do list, but maybe they weren't within the same category, maybe they weren't due at the same time, maybe some weren't high priority, or maybe they had like a whole bunch of subtasks, and I was really struggling with like, how do I keep track of all of those things? And I tried several different methods. For example, I tried doing them on different color Post-its and trying to put them up on a wall or on a bulletin board, but one, they kept falling off, and two, it just felt like I was constantly writing and shifting and moving things all around. Like, it just wasn't, it was taking more time than it needed to, and I couldn't take that with me. It was here, wherever I stuck it. And so I heard about Google Keep, and I decided I would check it out and see what I thought. So Google Keep is a part of like the Google family of products. Now, what's nice is that you can go to both a desktop or a laptop version of it, or you can have an app version of it on your phone. So I actually kind of go back and forth between using both. Like, if I'm out and about, I have the Google Keep app on my phone so I can quickly get into my to-do list. But I also, when I'm at home, if I'm maybe creating a new list, or at the beginning of the week when I'm moving things over kind of into like my must-do this week list, I will use the desktop version to make it easier for me to copy and move over things to that list. But essentially what Google Keep allows you to do is to create multiple different to-do lists and categorize them. So for example, I have one that I kind of call like the power list or the must-do list. So these are the things that absolutely have to be done on a given week. I have a list that is things to do clean for that week. And then I have categories. So if I have specific tasks that I need to do for my troop, that is under that categories list. So each list I have, I've made them each a different color. So only things for the troop are on there. Only things for Sunday school at the church are on a particular list. Only things that are related to gardening are on a list. So I can, as things are coming to my brain, right, as I'm like brain dumping and I'm like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do this. I can actually just put it onto those lists in that particular category. And then later, if it's time to work on that project, I can move that over to like that must-do list. So it's really handy in that regards. What's also nice is that when you check a box, that thing moves off of your list, it's crossed out. But if you need to reactivate it, like let's say it's a weekly task, right? And you click off that you've done those weekly tasks. At the end of the week, you can uncheck them all. They'll go back up to the top of your list, and then they're there for you to check off for the following week. You can also create custom headers for all of these. So I have access to Canva, and if you've never used Canva, it's another fantastic digital tool for creating all kinds of things. Just everywhere in life. I use it every single day. But you can use Canva to create little picture headers. Essentially, all I did was I drew black boxes on Canva, and then I put white graphics on top. I saved them as a picture, and then I uploaded them to Google Keep. So it allowed me to create these little custom toppers for the different categories in Google Keep. So that way, you don't have to do this, but it does make it a little bit easier for me to quickly spot the list that I am looking for on any given day. But it's a really handy tool, and then it automatically syncs. So if I'm doing something on the desktop, it's going to show up right away on the app, and vice versa. So fantastic tool if you prefer something that's a little more on the digital side, but also something that's like mobile. I mean, it's constantly with me. I could even, do my grocery list on here, right? And then check things off. But I have found that it's just a great thing for a to-do list. I like it more than I like, and I'm a big Apple girl, guys, but I like it more than like my Apple Notes and things like that. Like to me, that's become just jotting down longer notes, but actually keeping track of like to-do activities. Google Keep has been a lifesaver. And the last organizational tool that I have been using is an app called Carb Manager. So I mentioned, I think back in like early December, that I was going to go back onto my keto diet that I had done. And I know that there's like lots of different people who are, especially going into the new year, trying to do New Year's resolutions. And this isn't so much a resolution. This is just something that I have done in the past, and I felt a lot better when I was doing it. And so I want to go back to it. But Carb Manager is an app. Now, there's a free version of it that you can download, and I just get the free version, but they do have like paid subscriptions if you want some of the additional features that they offer. I largely use it as a way to track my macros. So with the diet that I do, I have to keep track of the number of carbs I have in, and net carbs especially. So that's where we're looking at things like the fiber content of food and all of that. But I also got to make sure that I'm getting enough good fats and enough protein every single day. And these kind of apps are fantastic for being able to log the things that I'm eating and see very quickly what am I getting nutrition-wise from them and where am I missing out on? Like, what do I still need to get? I'll find like on a day, for example, that, okay, well, we've hit our carb goal, but hey, we need to get this many more grams of protein in, or this many more grams of good fats in. And so that will kind of direct me with what to choose for my next meal or my next snack. And it's great because you can enter in the names of branded foods and it will pull them up, so that way you can, automatically have that nutrition information. You can put in generic things like, today I made eggs and bacon, right? I can select eggs and bacon and then it will put those in. Or you can actually add in foods. So if there's something that like is from a custom recipe that you found online that had the nutritional information, you can add that in and put the information with it. So it has been a really handy tool. The other nice thing is that you can actually customize what it's tracking based on what kind of a diet plan you're following. So if you're doing a strict keto, if you're doing a high protein keto, maybe you're doing a low carb, low fat diet, maybe you're doing a high protein diet. So you can actually select which kind of a diet plan that you're following, and then you can use the app and it will adjust kind of your goals based on your age, your weight, your height, what your goals are. Is your goals to just maintain, get stronger, lose weight, and then it'll take into account how active you are when it's making recommendations. So if you're, super active, obviously your recommendations are going to be a lot different than if you're pretty sedentary. But it has been a really nice tool. It really helped me with getting back on track with keto, because it had been like a year and a half since I had gone off of it, and just kind of mentally getting back in the swing of it was definitely difficult, but the app helped so much with keeping track of things. So those are 4 things that I like to use to try to stay organized in life, in homeschooling, in health. And so I hope some of these will be helpful to you as well. Like I said, if you're looking for something to use to help organize for your homeschool, check out my Buy Me a Coffee page. Like I said, there's tons of resources on there. Many of them are available to you for free, and a lot of them are mentioned in past videos. So for example, if you're looking for a way to teach your kid how to write research papers, the document is available there, but I have a whole video where I explain how it is I used it and how I continue to use it to help guide my kids through writing research papers. So check out that page, and if you have questions, let me know. If there are organizational tips and tricks that you would like to share, or specific products that you have found to be extremely helpful, drop a comment down below and share with us. Do you have a favorite planner company? Do you have a favorite app? Do you have a favorite website? What is it that helps you to stay organized as a homeschooling mom? Thanks so much for joining me for today's video, everybody. I will see you in the next one, and until then, happy homeschooling.